This year, the Carlow Motor Club are running a new hill climb near Goran in County Kilkenny. The events form round 7 and 8 of the Naylor Engineering National Hill Climb and Sprint Championship. Neil Bradbury, one of the Chento frontrunners, described the course after 2 days on the hill. You're a good man to remember the hills. Can you describe the course to us?
Yeah, off the start, it's slightly downhill. And then there's a left-hander, and then a right-hander kind of over a bridge, a little bit of a straight. And then it's another fast left-right. And then you're up to point number 6. And then it's a third gear left-hander. It's not flat, just a lift up through that. And then you get up to Marshall Point 8 and you're coming to the house there. And it's a 90 left, followed by 90 right. Went off there yesterday. And then it's a flat run then basically up to the first chicane. And then through the first chicane, again flat to the next one, and then over the finish.
Michael Connolly was all set for his home rounds, arriving with a 6-point lead in the championship. But it all went wrong just after the first corner on run 1. Robert Bell, who was in 4th place after run 1, had a very similar incident. He managed to straighten the nose of his car to complete Saturday and now cautious 8th. With growing confidence, he rose to 5th on Sunday. Siobhan McCann was another early exit, which was a shame after her great performance in Wexford. Her off left Enda Byrne without a drive.
Every picture tells a story.
Siobhan was reluctant to comment.
Go away, no.
What did she say?
You shut up as well.
Which time now?
You know what's good for you, do you?
Oh, I do, yeah. Yeah, but I don't. What story do you want me to tell you?
The latest.
Oh no, it's just about to be said there.
No, it wasn't. It's grand.
I'm
My
sure
car.
you have plenty of time to sort it out, will you?
She needed a new wing anyway.
And wishbones and...
Yeah.
The credit union.
Enda had to negotiate a run in John Mahon's DJ, a car he's driven before on track. Enda, this situation is working out quite well for you at the moment. You're double driving with John Mahon.
Yes, not too bad.
2nd overall?
At the minute. Yes, looking good. First hill climb I've done in that car. But I've done some sprints in it before, done a bit of racing in it. Lovely car.
It's a car you really like, isn't it?
I get on very well in that car.
It's looking like it. So, and John Byrne, is he just behind you?
He's behind me, in 3rd place at the minute. And they're gone up for their last run now, so we'll see what happens.
Have you had your last go?
I have had. So
it's starting
second.
It's starting to spit a little bit of rain at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think that'll pay much hindrance to them boys.
And will you sit in the car again tomorrow?
It's looking likely.
Very good. Well,
I have to negotiate now with Mr. Mahon later now about prices and things, contracts.
Yeah, I'd say with this level of success, prices going up, is it?
It is, yes, and I have talked to Siobhan and see how the credit union is at the minute.
Negotiations went well on all accounts, and Enda recorded another fine result on Sunday, holding off Rory Stevens and John Byrne, who were in a tight battle on the 2nd day. Rory's first day hadn't gone well at all. He didn't even make it around the first corner to the bridge. With a bit of help from someone you'd think had enough troubles of his own, Stevens was back out for day 2. Rory Stevens, is there a bit of remodelling going on here?
Well, I have the fiberglass crew. They usually build boats. And they've just built the front of a boat onto the car. So we can now go, we can go into ponds, lakes. It'll be launched. When are we launching it, Ken?
The champagne's going on.
Mick, is this therapeutic?
I don't know.
Can be fixed quickly.
It's definitely distracting anyway.
I'm looking for a smack.
And what do you think Tom's about to give him?
His first run time kept him in 3rd until run 3, but he kept hitting the cones on the narrow chicanes and never improved his time. John Byrne, who never flinched from the tricky conditions, claimed an excellent 3rd place on Saturday. John Byrne, 3rd today.
Third day, yes.
Did you enjoy that?
Right old hill, brilliant hill, yeah. Bit slippy this morning, but got more grip there as the day went on, probably more heat then. It's a great whole day, yeah.
I wouldn't have thought you were a driver that needs grip.
Yeah, I like a bit of grip, yes. I've old tyres on too, so new set of tyres probably would have been better, but
I think the first thing we saw of you this morning was sideways onto the bridge.
yes, I got a bit of a fright there this morning on the practice run, alright, yeah. I nearly hit the wall.
But you still seemed full of confidence there. I think on the second run, still hanging it out.
There was more grip then as the day went on, yeah.
It seems a very fun car to drive. It seems very drivable.
It is a fun little car, yeah, and it goes well, and haven't had any much hardship with it, so happy enough with it.
What size engine is it?
CBR 1000 Fairblade motorbike engine.
And is that pretty much the way you got the car?
No, it was CBR 600 in it when I got it, so we upgraded a little bit. I'd like to upgrade more, but the minute I've made do for a while now anyway.
He dug deep on Sunday afternoon and usurped the cone-battling Stevens to gain third overall again. Gary Cunningham had a rocky start to the weekend, but settled down to hold off John Mahon for 6th overall and 3rd in Class 6 on day 1. Mahon, who generously lent his car to Enda, was 7th on Saturday. Connolly's misfortune left the road clear for Joe Courtney to claim his first wins of the season, if he could thread his way through the narrow course. Joe explained on Saturday afternoon how the cautious approach was paying off.
Fortunately, a couple of the lads had a few offs this morning there. It's a new piece of road, was tricky and it's very, very narrow. So it's now, as the day has got on, people have kind of adjusted to it. There was places where you could push and there's places where you couldn't push simply, the little bit of gravel on the road, and it was surprisingly little grip in places, so it was just, I kind of had the approach that I took it pretty easy at the start and built it up as the day went on and tried to learn it. So it was only 1.2 kilometres, but there was a lot of learning in it, for such a short hill. So
from what we saw, it wasn't that somebody might be actually like pushing on gravel or something like that, but if there was the slightest bit of torque steer or something, it was just enough to put somebody onto the wrong line and then they were in trouble.
Yeah.
Did you find it like that? It was just a narrow path?
Yeah, I did. We, as you said, there's no room for corrections. Your car had to be precise and set up really well.
Well done. I said you seem to have gauged it just right.
Yeah,
congratulations, it's a great win.
Thank you.
By Sunday afternoon, he'd claimed his second win of the season, and he had the championship lead for the first time in his defending year. Deirdre McKinley brought her Reynard out on Sunday to keep the McKinley name on a single-seater, and was 6th overall and 3rd in Class 7. She was also driving her Nova both days and claimed a 3rd in class there too on Saturday. First in Class 1A was the similar Corsa of Ian Roach, with an excellent result right in the middle of the Class 2 battle. Dara Fay was 2nd in his Mark 1 Swift on day 1 and really got to grips with the course on day 2, reversing positions with Roach for the win. With his own car sick, Billy White double drove with Gary Egan and put in the stunning performance. See a smile on your face there.
I was pretty close all day now.
Did you just steal a car and go faster?
Well, I don't know. I got a white flag and so did Gary. We'll have to see now. I think there's about a tenth or 2 tenths between the three of us. I've been swapping all day. I was in first, I was in second, I was in third, and then back to first again. So it's going good.
It's good to see you back at the sharp end again.
Yeah, no, it's good. Sure, it's grand. You can push as hard as you want in someone else's car. Don't mind bending it.
So you'll be having an even closer look at the engine in the silver car now.
Definitely, it's got the bin now. Definitely, yeah.
In the end, Gary was second by just 0.05 of a second on Saturday. Neil Bradbury was third, remarkably just another 0.05 back. Gary re-established the status quo on Sunday with the fastest chento run of the weekend. Neil was second this time with nearly 2 tenths over Billy White. There was more car swapping again as gear selection became an issue in the blue car that Billy'd been sharing on day 2. There was essentially a second group of Chentos both days, with Danny Hurley in between in 4th. Leanne Carroll led the group in 5th place. Brian Kerwin 6th and Sean Walsh 7th. Less than a second covered these three. In what could nearly be called Class 205, Tony Banville took 2 wins. He was just over half a second ahead of Gary Graham on Saturday, who was himself just under a second ahead of his double drive Ger Lonergan. Jim Doherty was the sole entrant in Class 3A with his Opel engine Starlet. He got the hang of the narrow course quicker than most, scoring an excellent 4th overall on the first day and 8th on the second. He told us a bit about the car.
It's originally a rallycross car. I bought the car originally from John Maloney in Limerick. He used it for rallycross and for rallying. And I just converted it into a hill climb car in the 80s, and here we are.
Did it always have an Opel engine?
No, initially when I had it, had a Ford pushrod engine, and had that for a number of years. And then I put an Opel engine in it.
And that's the 1600 engine. It's quite common to use the 2 litre, but the 1600 is kind of an unusual one, I suppose.
It is, yes, but it's a light, compact little engine. It just goes pretty well. It suits the hills, light car.
You kind of you like the old school kind of setup. You often see it kind of soft in the back.
Yeah, I like a car. I like to run a car soft. You know, the roads that we're using are quite bumpy. I don't like a car that snaps or moves around. I like to have a bit of feel in it. Maybe I'm a bit nervous that the little car handles well.
And then a good pilot too.
Sure, I don't know about that. Yeah. I'm only good for my...
You have a decent number of class wins and championship class wins as well behind you.
Yeah, over the years, yeah.
What would you say is your favourite hill?
I always like Ballyalbin, Donegal, but it's nice to have hills like here today that are different. They're a new challenge, you know. It's great to have the classic hills as well, but these hills are new. They upset you a little bit in the morning, which is a good thing. You know, if you get too familiar with some of the hills, it's great. But this is nice. I enjoy this here now today.
Brendan Keane was another to adapt early to the course. He seemed to particularly slingshot through the location 6. 2 first places and a 5th overall will greatly assist his championship campaign against Peter McKinley in 3B. Peter got delayed in the United States trying to get back for the event. He missed Saturday and had to play catch-up on Sunday, where he managed 3rd. Mark Carroll was 2nd in the class Saturday and 8th overall. Mark Carroll, you're back in 3B. I haven't seen you for a couple of rounds. Good to have you back. How did you find that?
Delighted. We had a little bit of a scare at home, and thankfully we got great news with my wife. So obviously family comes first, so the racing got put on hold. We hadn't planned to do Escort. We had planned to do Dungarvan, but we put that on hold, and now we're back and we're delighted.
It's been a treacherous day, and I'm sure a turbo rear-wheel drive car was a bit of a handful today.
2 incidents, as typically with me, there's always a story. The practice, I nearly put it over the hedge in practice because I completely forgot one of the corners was there. I came up to it flat and 5th and then realised I actually had to turn into something, so I managed to get away with that. And then in the first run I had the same problem everybody did. On the first corner is a 3rd gear left which drops down into a right-hander at a bridge, and I think what it was doing was making all the cars light over the crest, so when you turned in there was a load of understeer, and what I'm going to call now from now on, because Rory obviously went off there, I'm going to call it I nearly did a Rory. Right, I went off in there as well, but the rest of the day now and the rest of the hill, it's a very quick hill, it's a good hill. It needs to be treated with a bit of respect because it's quite loose, very enjoyable now.
One of your main rivals, we believe, is frustrated at an airport at the moment. He didn't make it here this weekend. Yeah. What's the story there?
Peter, he had awful trouble with lights apparently. Coming back from Detroit, I think he's in at the moment, and I think he's on his way down either now or in the morning with the car. He'll have his work cut out for now to get dialed in, because it's really taken us 3 or 4 runs to get the most out of the hill.
Mark would hold off Peter on Sunday by 8/10 as the Escort driver did take time to catch up on this tricky course. But this was no place for heroics. Sam Smith was the fastest Escort driver on Sunday by 0.08, winning 9B, but Peter did hold off David James, who was 2nd in 9B. David had won that class from Danny Callan's Corsa on Saturday. Danny was just behind him, third in the class Sunday, but split by fearless Class 9A winner John Farrell. John did the double in the class, while Liam O'Neill was second the first day. Declan Gannon was third in 9B on the opening day in his BMW M3. Dennis Hogan was struggling with old tyres in the 3B M3. Struggling for grip in the rear, at first, he swapped the tyres around. Then this happened.
Red Bull.
We have a habit of being there for Dennis's moments. Dermot Nolan was on his third weekend in the RT2000 and gave us a tour of his car.
Dermot Nolan, you've joined the 3B party. It's something you were working on for a while. It's come together now.
Yeah, we've finally got the car that we wanted. We're only in phase one. A bit more development work to do, but yeah, it's called an RT2000. It's built by SHP, Sonny Howard Preparation, in the UK. It's a tubular chassis car with a fiberglass body. For all intents and purposes, it looks a little bit like a Mondeo, particularly at the front and the back, but that's where the Mondeo stops. We've a 2-litre Zetec racing engine in it and a Quaife 5-speed dog box, so you can just crash it in and out of gear. Fun car. More than anything else, the most important thing is it's really safe. There's lots of bars in it, and that's what it's all about, safety. But yeah, it's good, it's fun, and we're getting there with it. This was designed to be raced, or well, we hill climb it, but it was designed for racing. So yeah, pure race car.
Is there much involved in adapting it to hill climbs? Have you had to do stuff with suspension travel or anything like that?
We softened it. That's about the only thing we've done to it. Normally you'd have it, you'd increase your ride height, but it doesn't seem to be bottoming out, and the lower it is, the better it's going to handle. So just soften it a small bit because of the way the Irish roads are, but apart from that, no. But a lot of modifications on the inside just to get into it, because they're fairly small, and I'm not exactly tiny myself, so. But no, not a huge amount, thank God. Yeah. Myself and Peter are kind of playing with the car, Peter McKinley, and he's a very knowledgeable guy, so we'll work it out between us. And we're doing an engine transplant as well over the winter. Currently it's got 220 brake horsepower, and we've an engine, Vauxhall engine to go into it. It's 264 brake horsepower, Connacht engines. But actually Simon built it first, and then Connacht tweaked it, so nice engine to go in. So we'll have more power again. On this engine, the exhaust is on the right hand side, so and it's all made to go down through the tunnel, but on the other engine it's on the left hand side. So we have to get someone that's able to make up an exhaust, and that's the biggest hurdle we're going to come across. But everything else is fairly straightforward.
Dermot was fourth in Class 3B each day. Mick O'Shea was the sole contender in the historic class in the MGB GT, so he took it fairly easy over the weekend as his car was due a bit of a service. One driver who was missing was Seamus Anderson, whose father had sadly passed away. A minute's silence was observed in honour of Jim Anderson.
Right, lads, thanks very much. Right, that's about it for today, lads. Have a safe drive today.
Despite great support, John Whitley could not crack Gerard O'Connor all weekend. Ger kept his V wound up to win Class 5 by 2 seconds on Saturday, while John was frustrated by cone strikes in the chicanes. On Sunday, John got within 2/10 on run 1, but uncharacteristically went off on run 2, while O'Connor continued to improve. This championship class battle just got very interesting. Michael Nicholson was third on Sunday in his V. David Byrne won Class 8A in his Nova both days, from William Cecil's Peugeot 205 on each occasion. Third in the class Saturday was Peter O'Brien in a Peugeot 205, and Martin Dunbar took that position Sunday in a Mark 1 Escort. Awards in Class 8B were all for Honda Civics. Tom Gardner won the first day, followed by Shane Caulfield, who was second both days. James Sunderland was third on the opener, but leapt to first on the final day. He wasn't the only one leaping positions over the weekend. The next event in Limerick is also narrow and twisty, and could continue to shake up the results. Hopefully the Connolly Gould will be back together for that.
I've been way up.